you started photography?
I was always a creative person from the time I was 6 years old. I started in music, and then later on I started in photography in my mid-teens. I got a camera from my dad. And I always, at that point I had been playing music for 10 years already. So my path was sort of set in my mind. At that age, as a teenager, I didn't consider that I would change the career path, that I was already adventurous enough for my parents to accept. So I used photography as a creative outlet. I was playing around with it. I liked it. I always loved visual arts and photography. And later on, I was trained to be a pressman. I was trained to work in a darkroom and how to use a camera, doing that training in Germany. So 15 years ago, I opened a custom darkroom business in Los Angeles, and I made black and white enlargements for galleries and certain photographers. Some of this work that came through there and some of those people that I worked for were so inspiring that that's really the starting point where I started taking photography much more serious, because I felt much more of a desire for self-expression, and I realized that photography would be a much better medium for me than music could ever be. Ever since that time of printing this incredible work and having these people mentor me and teach me about life and about pursuit, I've really been looking for something that would fill that gap in my life, that would give it meaning and that would give it purpose. And it wasn't until 2013, late 2013, that I found it. I found it at an abandoned sanatorium in Germany, which I would have never expected. My approach to photography is very intuitive. I've done a lot of jobs. I've done billboard, I've done headshots, I've done things that photographers do. And, I've done a lot of jobs, I've done a lot of portraiture, I've done a lot of billboards and commercial photography, and all of those things have been interesting in different ways, and they've been great and enriching, and I've met an abundance of wonderful people through it, and maybe two that were not so nice, but at the end of the day, it's been just a great ride, so to speak. And this project and this collection is the pinnacle of it. This is the one thing I've always been looking for, not just as a photographer, but as a person, as a creative person. Something that is important to me, something that represents something that is of importance to my beliefs and to my values, and something that has the potential to not just inspire me, which it certainly does, but also inspire others to strive for the things that it communicates. And people sometimes ask me, oh, you must be really proud of this. And my answer is actually, well, no, not really. If there's anything I feel, it's gratitude. There's gratitude that this found me and that I had the chance to experience this. And I hope it's going to treat the viewers in the same way that it has treated me. One shot that was a great experience for me from this series is Choices. Choices is one of those things where I came up a staircase, and it was dirty, and it was a mess, and it was dark, and hauling gear up these semi-broken stairs. And we came through a little door, and as soon as I stepped through this door, I was looking at this corner, and it was kind of one of those moments where I had to decide, okay, which way am I going to go? Am I going to go to the right or to the left, or am I going to take door A, B, or C? And it's immediately this scene just, it had a direct relation to life and to our decision-making process and the things that we're facing every day when we're making our choices in life. It represented all of that, and it was a very important moment. It was great, it was wonderful. And this is the big 60 by 90 print that you're going to see in the gallery. I'm very proud of it, and it's won an award, and I absolutely love it. I hope you will too. So this particular piece is called Grandeur, and this was the moment where my life changed. This is the first room I walked into. I pulled up to this property, and it was just absolutely incredible. It was a different world, and it's of a massive scale. it felt like being on a movie set. It was just a different world altogether. So the door unlocked, and when I walked in, this is the first room I saw, and it was not at all what I expected. It was so much more, and I found so much more than I was looking for. I found all the answers to my questions that I had. I found the one thing I have been searching for forever, which is something that really, truly touches me. And as soon as I opened that door, it was right there in front of me. All these things were just such a humbling experience. It was very, very powerful, and it was just incredible. And I had to share it, and I wanted to do it justice. This is when everything changed. This is grandeur. This site is an abandoned hospital about an hour south of Berlin. It was built in the late 1800s as a tuberculosis hospital to treat the victims of a huge epidemic that was happening in Europe at the time. What stands out here is the size. This facility sits on over 200 acres, 60 buildings, with a central heating plant in the middle that supplied hot air to all the buildings. Remind you, this is in the late 1800s, so it was very innovative for the time. It was a self-contained village that had a bakery shop, a butcher shop, a post office, living quarters, a train station, anything you would need to ensure operations. It sits in the middle of a forest in an area that has exceptional air quality and is particularly suited for tuberculosis. It was one of the largest in the world, and it was a world leader in research and treatment of tuberculosis. The thing that struck me the most when I went to this site is not just the size of it. I mean, the size is very, very impressive when you go there. These buildings are humongous. They're 4- or 5-story buildings, corridors and corridors and corridors. It's quite incredible. But what really stood out to me was the way that it was built, and the compassion and the courage and the care that was applied in going way beyond what was necessary in order to build a functional hospital. They did not just build a hospital that was there to treat people. They built a facility that was designed to provide treatment physically as well as spiritually. It was designed to provide a place of healing, provide a place where the patients would feel very comfortable and welcomed and cared for. And those are values that are seen less and less in today's world, and that's why I think this is important. And it's important to show these values, and it's important to show what happens when something is done with those things in mind. The World Heritage Collection is a photographic art collection that is designed or intended to celebrate culture, diversity, and humanity. One of the things that is important to me is when you provide this type of journey, when you share this kind of experience and this kind of journey with an audience, it gives them a chance to question the reasons behind it. It gives them a chance to assess the values that are represented in this work that it speaks of. And those things are enriching, those things are inspiring, and that's what I hope they will be. Because they've inspired me. They inspired me a great deal. They've made me want to be a better person. I've applied all these values that I found applied at this site into the creation of this and into the process. That's why I took 2 years to develop it, because I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted it to be right, and I wanted to do it justice. So when these values are communicated to the viewer, I hope that they are going to take something home with them. I hope that they're going to take inspiration home with them. They might take a piece home with them and hang it on their wall and get this inspiration every day, like I am. And that's a wonderful thing. I found it to be very enriching, very encouraging, and almost empowering at times. And those things I think they're very much needed in this world today. And we talk about values. I think this is a time of great concern. Even though technological advances have a lot of benefits, they also come at a price. They come at a cost. And I think it is very important these days to show the value of a strong foundation to show the value of craftsmanship and the importance of craftsmanship, to show the values and the importance of care and compassion, of dedication to whatever it is that you might be doing in your life. And it doesn't matter if somebody is a carpenter or if somebody has, is a stockbroker. What matters though is the intentions behind it, behind what they do. And these type of images communicate values that will outlast our lifespan. They will outlast our generation and the next. There are lessons to be learned from the past. There are lessons to be learned from the people that built the foundation for the life that we are leading today. And they've accomplished these things by applying a mindset, by doing things for a certain set of reasons. And those reasons, I think, should be something that we keep in mind at a time where everything is highly analytical, where there's information to be found everywhere, and it's just all too easy to forget that there's a cause and effect. There were a few moments that really hit home with me, that really grabbed me and that really impressed me. One, of course, was when I first walked in, and there was just a level of grandeur and commitment and dedication that I hadn't seen in quite some time. And it was I found it was very important, and it was impressive. It was humbling, and it really. There's something that happens when you stand in the presence of history and it is just staring you in the face. It is very, very humbling, and it's when you take when you take the purpose out of a building, you take the people out of a building, what remains is its shell, and that shell has a story, and it has a meaning, and it has a purpose. And particularly in this case, when it's in a little bit of distress, those qualities still remain. Despite all the dirt, the beauty is still there, and it still shines through, and it outweighs anything else that has gone south, which is quite interesting. And I think when I look at this scene and when I look at these images and when I was standing there, I can't help but think about all those stories, all those people that were there, and all the things that happened there, and what kind of compassion went into the erection of something of this magnitude, of this size, in this particular fashion. It is quite extraordinary that these steps were taken, and it shines through more probably now more than ever. When things are done for the right reasons, and things are done from a position of passion and commitment, when it's important to whatever individual is doing something or developing a concept for something, if that comes from the right place, then it has the potential to be extraordinary. If it comes from a place that is constructed based on an analytical idea, it will never see the light of day. Those values are extremely important in not only succeeding, but also in creating something that truly is significant, and that truly stands for something, and that truly has a value that will stand the test of time.